What is up everyone, and welcome to some more F122 My Team Career Mode. Last time out we were at the Singapore Grand Prix, and despite the fact that we were having a tricky race, we were running in podium contention, maybe on track for P2 or P3. It was unclear, but yeah, after the second pit stop phase, our car decided to give up. Our gearbox in particular was the component that decided to fail, and yeah, that left us in a pretty tricky spot for multiple reasons. First of all, because we were on track to outscore Alex Albon in that race by a good chunk of points and hopefully get back in the championship fight, and in the end, yeah, he ended up coming home in 4th, scoring 12 points and extending his championship lead to 59 points, which is what it is going into the Japanese Grand Prix now. So yes, we have a mountain to climb in these last 6 races. We need to outscore him by an average of 10 points per race, which is basically a first and a third every single time. So not only do I need to be winning a lot of these races, I also need him to be having a difficult time of things. You know, for the driver who has been the most consistent, the most impressive all season in terms of pure pace, I think it's asking a lot for him to suddenly tail off in these last 5 races. And yeah, I don't think it's going to be possible. I've never won here at Japan. I've never won in the USA either. The other 4 tracks on the calendar I have won at in the past, but for some of those it's not been, you know, for 2, 3, 4 seasons since the last time I did win at them. So yeah, we do have a mammoth task on our hands, but this, I suppose you could argue, is the true test of a world champion, right? Even when they seem completely down and out of it, they will never give up, and they will find some kind of form that you weren't expecting from them. But we do need, realistically, probably at least one mechanical failure on the side of Alex Albon to give us any kind of chance whatsoever. And, you know, obviously that mechanical failure we had in Singapore was only our 3rd of the season. Last season we had 7, so there's every chance in the world that we could have another one at some point in this season. And I mean, if that happened, that would be game over the way I see it. At that point, I think we would be lucky to even beat Max Verstappen in the fight for 2nd in the World Championship. And yeah, we would be battling over that position. I think kind of to an extent we already are, you know. Verstappen only 12 points behind me in the championship. Meanwhile, Albon a long way in front, 59 points ahead in 1st. So yeah, we're going to see what we can do. And step 1 of the, you know, just seeing if we can do anything in this championship is qualifying here in Japan. I'm going to need at least a front row start. You know, maybe if I get 2nd, I can challenge up the inside at the first corner. But yeah, I think anything other than that, and we can kiss goodbye to any hopes of winning this Grand Prix. So we'll see what we can do. We do a 1:28.4 on our first lap on a fresh set of softs. We were actually held up behind Esteban Ocon for pretty much the entire lap. And then I decided to go out again on the same set of tyres because we looked like we probably were going to make it through. We did just about manage to. You can see that we're running in 13th at the moment. I'm the last car to cross the line, so it will be 13th as we cross the line. And yes, that is us through to Q2. No real issues, but I will tell you one surprising thing that happened here in Q1, and that was the fastest time belonged to Charles Leclerc with a 1:11. I can't help but feel like that might have been glitched on account of the fact that I cannot see how it is possible to do a 1:11 on this track. I do not understand how that is possible, but you know, respect to him. You know, clearly Ferrari have installed some upgrades this weekend or something like that, and they're putting them to good use. So yeah, I would expect Charles Leclerc to put in some consistent lap times, and yeah, maybe for Kota they'll put the upgrades on Carlos Sainz's car as well. Who knows? Anyway, moving back to serious mode, we are now into Q2. I'm on a fresh set of soft compound tires to kick off the session, and we do a 1:28.4 once again. I don't know if this time this is going to be good enough to see us through. This wasn't good enough to get us into the top 10 in Q1, so I don't know if this will see us through to Q3. In Q2, we may have to go on another fresh set of softs and try and find some improvement. And find some improvement we do on another fresh set of softs. You can see we're about 3 tenths up as we come through the final corner. It's closing up to about 4 tenths actually as we come up to the line. And yes, we improved by 4 tenths. We did a 1:28.0. Was it good enough to see us through to Q3? Yes, it was. P7. So, nothing remarkable so far. I'm going to need a big improvement in Q3 if I want to find myself on that front row. But, yeah, we'll see what we can do. Albon only P8 in this session, actually, with a 128.2, a long way off the likes of Leclerc, who did a much more realistic 127.4 this time. And the only real shock exit of Q1 or Q2, I would say, is Pierre Gasly, who exited in P11 and lost out to Felipe Drugovich by 0.04 of a second. So, yeah, disappointment for the Red Bull driver, I'm sure, but very impressive performance from Drugovich. You know, he has been pretty mighty since he came into Formula 1, whether it was with AlphaTauri or with Alfa Romeo. Yeah, him and Piastri definitely looking like the two strongest drivers who've entered the sport since I've been here. But yeah, we now find ourselves in Q3. That was a used set of softs we just finished that run on. That was a 128.6. So I would expect to find quite a bit of improvement, maybe at least 7 or 8 tenths worth of time if I can put a good lap together. And you can see as I come into the final sector now, I'm actually about a second up. So if we can get a bit of time save through this final chicane, then maybe, just maybe, we could be in the hunt for pole here. But you can see that I don't really save that much time in the grand scheme of things. Sorry, I stuttered for a second there. Across the line, it's a 127.5. And yeah, that's not good enough for pole position, but it does put us onto the front row, so I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's Albon on pole, but I'll take it.
With qualifying complete, let's review our top 3 today. Albon, Robinson and Carlos Sainz. With qualifying complete, all that remains now is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
Well, only 1/10 away from Albon, so maybe if I had taken that final chicane just a little bit better, maybe I could have been in the fight for pole position there. You know, I improved by 1.1. I would have needed about 1.25 improvement, and I mean, that was there. Surely there was another 10th I could have found on that lap, but that is the difference between me and Albon today. And I mean, I'm pretty satisfied with that. That is one of the closest deltas to pole position I've had with Alex Albon pretty much all season. You know, I obviously have had a few poles here and there, but generally speaking, he has had the measure of me in every qualifying session. So to be that close to him, it really suggests to me that if we can get a good start here in the race, then maybe we could still be in the fight for the win. If he wins, I'd say that's pretty much championship over. But you know, if we can challenge him, then maybe we can win as we get into the Japanese Grand Prix.
Come to you live today from the Mie Prefecture in the south of Japan's Honshu Island for a race that has seen many title deciders over the years. Some simple, some controversial, but all contributing to a legacy that makes the Japanese Grand Prix an indispensable stop in any Formula One season. 18 corners make up a lap of the incredible figure-of-8 SUZUKA circuit, with 10 to the right and 8 to the left, for a distance of 3.6 miles. Average lap speeds around here are fairly quick. If it stays dry, then expect somewhere in the region of 136 miles per hour. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. What a great lap from Alexander Albon yesterday. He'll start from pole position. And Robinson completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Russell, Oscar Piastri and Leclerc, Norris, Verstappen, Drugovich and Pierre Gasly, Théo Pourchaire, Schwartzman, Kevin Magnussen and Ocon, Stroll, Ricciardo, Yuki Tsunoda and Nicholas Latifi, Mick Schumacher, Joe, Lundgaard, Enzo Fittipaldi. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. And alongside me once again for coverage of today's race is none other than the great Anthony Davidson. Let's start by getting your take on Daniel Ricciardo. As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to power unit component changes. It's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
Everyone has to deal with penalties or reliability issues from time to time throughout their career. You just have to suck up the pain and get on with the job at hand. Today isn't about performing a miracle to put the car back where it should be. It's about effective damage limitation.
Okay, we need a good result today if we want to catch Albon in the Drivers' Championship.
And Mark says exactly what I want to hear. We are going to give it absolutely everything. We are going to be going on an alternative strategy to everyone around us, and we are going to be starting on the soft compound of tyres and moving to the mediums on lap 8 of this Grand Prix, which will take us to the end, barring any safety cars making any kind of strategy change or anything like that. But for the time being, I would say that this is definitely the strategy to be on. I am so confident right now that I can get into the lead of this Grand Prix off the start. You know, when I'm on the soft compound tyres and he's on the mediums, I am going to have a significant advantage off the start. You've seen what I've done in the past off the starts when I've been on a better compound of tyre to the cars around me, and surely this will be no exception. So here we go. We're going to get ready to take the lead as the lights come on. And the lights go out, and we do get away well compared to Alex Albon. It's exactly what you would expect. We're right alongside him, but he's just a little bit faster through the second phase, and I'm not quite in a position to get ahead of him off the start of this Grand Prix. We were super close to maybe going for a move up the inside there, but I just could not quite do it on this occasion, and maybe, just maybe, that is my chance to take the lead gone in this Grand Prix. I know he's going to have a tiny bit more race pace than me. He always does, but maybe we can get a miracle here. Maybe the strategy will play into our hands. But for the time being, we're coming under a lot of pressure from Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari behind. He's looking to maybe go up the inside there, but we cut him off at the last second, and actually that caused him for some reason to go off the track. I think he maybe sent it a little bit over the bump or something like that. I don't really know what happened there, but either way, yeah, Sainz is right down the order now, and it's Russell behind us. Albon already extending the gap to 1.5 seconds out in front, and there is a yellow flag behind, and there is a virtual safety car because Daniel Ricciardo is out of this Grand Prix. We will see what is going on in a second, but the VSC has already been upgraded to a full safety car, and I mean, this is exactly what I would want to see right now. This gives us one more chance to get ahead of Alex Albon here, and maybe this time we'll actually be able to do it, because yeah, we will be closing right up to the back of him. This is what happened with Daniel Ricciardo now. He's in the McLaren, and you're about to see as they come up to the hairpin, he just goes straight into the back of one of the Alpines there. I think that's Esteban Ocon that he went into the back of, and I mean, yeah, that is an immensely frustrating situation to find yourself in if you're Daniel Ricciardo. We come on to lap 3 towards the end, and this is the final lap that the safety car is going to be out for now, and we will see whether we can challenge Albon off the start. As we have done many times throughout this career mode, maybe there is just one more push in me and one more opportunity to get ahead of him here. You can see that we do not get away well compared to Albon. He definitely gets the jump on us, but with the battery, we look like we're coming back at him. We're slipstreaming him all the way down to the first corner, and we pull alongside him, and by the time we get to the first corner, we're ahead, and we are through into the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix, and this is exactly what I was hoping would happen. We managed to get it done the second time around. We couldn't quite do it off the start, but here, we managed to get ahead of him on the safety car restart, and now it is just a game of holding on to the lead of the Japanese Grand Prix for the next 4 laps until the pit stop phase comes around. We move now onto lap 6, and you can see that that was the most seamless transition you've ever seen in your life. I am so good at editing, but we are going to come around this next corner, and you can see that I actually go a little bit wide, and that allows Alex Albon right back into the fight. And yeah, he's actually going to challenge us into the hairpin now. I'm going to try and hold the line through the inside. We squeeze him out a little bit wide. I think that was fair game from us, and yeah, we make our way into the lead once again. We do just about hold on to it. He doesn't manage to overtake us on this occasion, but he is putting us under so much pressure. These tyres are very worn by now. 45 to 50%, I think, is what we're looking at. It's causing me to go off track all over the place at this point, and now as we move on to lap 8, it is finally time for my pit lap. You can see that Albon didn't really put any more pressure on me. I'm using just the right amount of battery to be able to conserve it whilst also defending from Albon, and I mean, this is exactly what I was hoping would happen over the course of this first stint. We've managed to take the lead of the Grand Prix, and now we are going to be going into the pit lane and sticking on those medium compound tyres to the end of the race. My goodness, that was a stressful first stint, but I am incredibly excited for the potential to win at the Japanese Grand Prix for the first time. Now, what we need to do before Albon's pit stop comes around, which I think will probably be lap 13 or 14, he'll be going medium hard. I imagine that the strategy here will simply just be push as hard as we possibly can in the hopes that we can get ahead of him out of the pit stop phase. Hope that he doesn't have more pace on his used mediums than we have on these fresh mediums. Obviously they took a little bit of time to get up to temperature, but I'm hoping that we'll be able to catch up with him once we have both pitted. A few cars coming through the pits now as we move on to lap 12. Lundgaard is the final car to come off the soft compound tyres. Anyone else who is on the softs has already pitted. I haven't actually managed to catch the train in front, which is a little bit surprising to me because I thought I would probably be able to do that. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. You can see that we are pushing very, very hard. However, one driver I do need to be concerned about perhaps is Max Verstappen. He's 4 seconds down on us at the moment, but he is ever so slightly catching me. So yeah, there is every chance in the world. You can see he's gained about 3 or 4 tenths on me on this lap. There is every chance in the world that Max Verstappen could find himself in the fight towards the end of the Grand Prix as well, because he is closing me down quite a lot over the course of this lap. He actually does the fastest lap, which is 0.02 of a second faster than mine, and Alex Albon's fastest lap is somewhere between those two as well. So yeah, very evenly paced throughout this Grand Prix, myself, Albon, and Verstappen at the moment. We'll see which one of us is able to come out on top as we move into the final 13 laps of this Grand Prix. We're into the pit stop phase now, and you can see Alex Albon is coming out of the pits, and he is going to be ahead of me on those hard compound tyres, but he's not going to be that far ahead of me, maybe a second or so, maybe less than that. Obviously, he's got to get the hards warmed up. They're the tyres that take quite a long time to get warmed up. They have absolutely no pace when they're stone cold coming out of the pit stops, and I am on warmed up mediums. They do have a bit of wear to them, but not too much, and so I think we might be able to potentially challenge him down into the next couple of corners once we move through Dunlop here, and yeah, we're going to see if we can challenge him and try and retake what will be the lead of the race. Norris yet to stop out in first place at the moment, and as we come up on the run to the hairpin, we are just a little bit too far behind him to make a move on this occasion, but we're keeping pace with him. He's still warming up those tyres a little bit. Meanwhile, Verstappen is 2.5 seconds down on us as well, and that's someone that we're going to have to at least pay a little bit of attention to, pay a little bit of respect to if we want to make sure that we're winning this Grand Prix. We can't count him out, and yeah, as we come through the spoon curve now, we are 6 tenths down on Alex Albon, but we are going to be burning quite a lot of battery. I'm going to try and get ahead of him here if we possibly can, and you can see that I'm gaining on him quite a lot. I don't know if he's saving his battery or what's going on here, but he doesn't seem to have had anywhere near as good a run as I've had. We go through 130R, and as we come into the chicane, we're going to try and take the lead of the Grand Prix once again, and we make the move on Alex Albon for the second time in this Grand Prix. I am so glad that we were able to do that. Once I saw him come out of the pit stop, I was like, oh man, this is game over, and this is another victory slipped through my fingers this season. But no, we are now over a second in front of him. We have broken out of that DRS range, if only temporarily. I imagine he will close us down once again, and as we move on to lap 20, you can see that the gap has fallen to 0.3 of a second. So he is by no means out of this Grand Prix. We're getting into the phase of this stint where these medium compound tyres are going to start to go off a little bit. And I mean, indeed, you can see I went a little bit deep into the chicane there, and that is going to perhaps invite Alex Albon into the fight. He's going to have the DRS, and before we even get to the DRS zone, he's already less than 2 tenths behind me. So surely he is going to go for a move up the inside as we come into the first corner here. Lando Norris setting the fastest lap of the race. Albon thought about it there, but decided to back out of the move in the end. And yeah, no real pressure on this occasion. We are now looking at Max Verstappen as we come through the S's, and yeah, you can see that he is right behind us as well. This is a very intense three-way fight for the lead between the two Jaguars and Max Verstappen in the Red Bull as well. And I think Alex Albon potentially looking for a move on me here. He's not going to quite make it stick, and that's compromised his run slightly, and that has allowed Max Verstappen into the fight. And now Alex Albon and Max Verstappen are going wheel to wheel up into the hairpin, and I don't know which one of these guys is going to come out on top here. Max Verstappen with the outside line in the Red Bull, and Alex Albon is going to lose out, and he is going to fall into third position. And this is another thing which I am absolutely desperate to see in this Grand Prix, because Alex Albon needs to drop 10 points to me every single race if I want to win this championship. So I need a first and a third, and this is exactly what I would want to see on this occasion. We have 2 more laps to go in this Grand Prix, and it is now Max Verstappen on the medium compound tyres who is putting a lot of pressure on me. Albon falling away a little bit perhaps on those hard compound tyres, but we are really struggling for grip, and we are going to be trying to do everything we can to make sure that Max Verstappen can't even so much as attack us, never mind overtake us, because if we even give him a sniff, he is going to smell blood and he is going to go for it. I am absolutely sure of it. If you look down in the bottom right corner, you will be able to see that the tyres have gone off. They are over 60% worn at this point, and I mean, it's not really a surprise. I've been on them for what, almost 20 laps at this point, but I think we're going to be able to just about hold on to this. There's only going to be a few more overtaking spots. That's one of them as we go through the hairpin, and so now I think the only possible place that Max Verstappen will be able to overtake us is into the final chicane, and if he can't manage that, then I think we will be able to hold on to this victory for the first time in Japan. I have never won here before, and this would be an absolutely amazing way to take my first victory at this circuit. We come through the chicane, you can see that Max Verstappen is nowhere near me, 6/10 down, and we come through the final corner, and on the run up to the line I am already celebrating, and you can see that we are going to take the win, and we are going to win for the first time in Japan. My goodness, I am out of breath. I need to lie down after that because that was an absolutely mega Grand Prix. One of my favourites I think I've ever driven. So much adrenaline going through my system at all times. And I mean, what a way to take your first victory at a circuit.
For another fantastic Grand Prix here in Japan. A brilliant victory that has thoroughly earned the applause of the sellout crowd here today. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
Here comes your top 3 making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula 1.
Yeah, I would say this is a fantastic day for Formula 1. Certainly a fantastic day for my championship hopes, as we show that we are not out of it yet. We cut the gap down to 50 points, I think it is, because I think Alex Albon did get fastest lap in the end there. But still, I will happily take a 9-point reduction in the championship deficit. Max Verstappen came home in P2 in the end, and yes, it was Alex Albon in P3. So we did everything we could here on this occasion to try and cut down this lead to Alex Albon, but in the final 5 races, there's still a lot to do.
So let's review the drivers' standings. Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Often my go-to would be a driver who's managed to pull off an especially impressive feat during the race. However, in this instance, I was more impressed by Max Verstappen's solid, clean driving throughout the event.
Let's move on to the constructors. The current leaders continue to extend their lead at the top. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula 1 action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, Max Verstappen making it from 8th into 2nd, definitely deserving of driver of the day there. He was on the right strategy, of course, but strategy only works if you've got the driver to back it up, right? So, yeah, a massively impressive result from him. And, I mean, a pretty impressive result from my side of the garage as well. You know, I can't quite believe that we've managed to win the Japanese Grand Prix for the first time. I was kind of resigning myself to this notion that any circuit I hadn't already won at by this point, I certainly wasn't going to win this season. You know, I've won pretty much all the ones that suit my strengths, but clearly I was wrong, and clearly I should have been more optimistic about it, because goodness me, this is exactly what we needed. Like, this is just absolutely what we needed. I can't quite stress how important this victory is. I think it's our 4th victory of the season, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember where else we won. I know we won in... No, I think it's our 5th. We won in China, Monaco, Austria, Zandvoort. No, we didn't win in Zandvoort, did we? Because our car broke down. We were on for the win in Zandvoort before the car broke down. So yeah, this is our 4th win of the season. And we're going to need a lot more if we want to get back into this championship fight. You know, I can still win every race, and it still won't be enough, which is kind of bonkers to say that I could win 9 races this season and not win the championship. But such is the nature of some of my less strong results, and such is the nature of Alex Albon's supreme consistency in this championship as well. Yeah, USA is going to be a really tricky Grand Prix for us. Despite the fact that I have been on for the win there on a couple of occasions, I've never managed to convert it, despite the fact that I have had a couple of pole positions. And not only that, but there are certain parts of that track that really do not work well for me at all. And I think I will be punished as a result of that. I imagine Alex Albon is going to be very strong around there. I think Verstappen will probably be quite strong around there as well. We will lose the rivalry against Verstappen, you'll see that in a second, because I think he had a faster lap than me and he was on the podium. We needed basically a retirement for him to have any chance of winning the rivalry. So we will be bumping the difficulty down, which is a nice way to try and get back into the championship fight, but it won't change the supremely impressive performance of Alex Albon. You know, he is definitely the best car on the grid at the moment, and or the best driver on the grid at the moment. And I mean, if I can get back into the championship fight, it will probably be due to luck rather than any kind of impressive performance from myself. Obviously, I'll need to put in some impressive performances as well. I'm not going to completely diminish my role in winning the championship if we do manage to do it, but yeah, generally speaking, it's Alex Albon's championship to lose at this point rather than mine to win, I would say. So yeah, we'll see what we can do, and hopefully I can just put in the performance of my life in these final 5 races. You know, I always get stronger as the season goes on. You've seen me in seasons gone by, like the one where I was trailing by 40 points or something like that, and then I won many races in a row to bring it back. But anyway, that is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.